Hi guys, welcome back to We Are Tottenham TV. This is the post-match fan show after Tottenham Hotspur lost 2-0 at home to Manchester City in Arsenal's biggest game in decades. And having just taken a little look at social media after the game, to say that their fans are going nuts would be an understatement, by which I mean I've seen lots of clips from kind of Arsenal Fan TV and various other influencers where they are now single-handedly blaming Heung-min Son for them not winning the title. I'm Barnaby Slate. I'm here with Amir. We watched the game together. But it's going to be quite a short post-match fan show because we've got to get off to get some trains. So I think what we'll do is we'll get straight in there and start talking to some of our guys.
Let's hear. I want to hear how the public's feeling, Barnaby, after that one, because
I completely agree. Yeah.
It's such a strange game, and really the result is one that I wanted, and probably many other Spurs fans wanted. So it'd be interesting.
Yeah,
to hear what
as we said through the game, you know, everybody's opinion is valid.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So let's go and see how Michael feels about it. Michael, can you hear us? How are you, mate?
What's up, guys? Can you hear me?
Yes,
perfect.
Perfectly, Michael. Loud and clear. So tell us, what are your overall thoughts after that performance?
I think it was a good performance. I was surprised to see us playing with no striker, basically. That was the surprise. But I was really curious to see Radu performing. Like, I know Radu. I'm from Romania. I've watched this guy play a lot. And I wasn't as pumped as, maybe the other Spurs fans that haven't watched him a lot. But today he impressed me. Yeah. The overall feeling after the game, I would have hated the draw. Like, I wanted us to win just because I want Spurs to win all the time. I get the fans that, didn't want us to win. That's totally fine. I can understand that some other people kind of leave this rivalry different than, us fans that are from London. But
for sure,
in the end, a draw, I would have hated. So when that chance came out for Sonia, I was like, oh, shit.
And here's the big question, Michael. Here's the big question. Do you think that Sonny missed that on purpose? Because that is such an easy chance for Heung-min Son.
Absolutely not. I mean, this is why I think, right? Yes, he scores 98 out of 100 chances like that. But I don't think under any circumstance, like, just think about Son and the type of human being he is. He's not. All he has on his head is, he's a professional football player. He's gonna want to score there. So I don't believe that for a second. Maybe I think, Barnaby, you said it on the stream. Maybe he's subconscious, knowing that.
Yeah.
Maybe that kind of jinxed it, but I don't think he missed it. I don't think he looked at the goal and was like, all right, I'm going to miss right now. No.
I was just surprised, Michael, that he didn't kind of almost make a big decision, by which I mean take a touch to the right to open up the left, or go the way he was and then open his body up to bend it in that way, or take it round the keeper. It was almost like, and I'm not talking about a chance here where he didn't have the time to do that. He had, for an elite level striker in the Premier League, he had so much time to think about it, but he didn't make any decisions. And actually, the decision he did make, which was kind of what seemed to me like, okay, I'm going to kind of slightly aim it to the left. But Amir made a good point. I don't think his shot was even going in.
Yeah, it looked like he was going wide.
Yeah.
Well,
it's a strange one, guys. I'm not gonna lie, but I don't think he missed it on purpose. I
agree.
I hear that, Michael. I hear that, and I think that you put any striker in that position, you're gonna want to bury it. But you spoke a little bit about Radu there in the start. I'd like to get your feeling about how you're feeling about him, about his performance today, and whether Ange has maybe learnt that he can tweak things tactically in that defence and bring Radu in for some big games where we need a bit more defensive stability.
So my concern with Radu was that obviously his left foot is not really good. So playing him as a left centre back, I've seen him play for us just a couple of times this season, and I saw him looking a little bit uncomfortable. So today I think he just the pressure was off. You see, I would love to see us perform like this when the pressure's on. I think this was a big step for Radu. He needs some confidence. He needs some playing time. Yeah. And I think he put in a great shift. That was a couple of times he just carried the ball so well. And I think he knocked down Haaland at one point. I was like,
big time. Exactly. I was loving that, and I thought he had a great performance as well. And I just think the fact that he has that option now of pushing Mickey out to the left back position and maybe slotting Radu in there, and also given that, you know, set piece wise, when we had Radu, Romero, and VDV going for the ball, I thought we looked much more threatening with the corners and stuff like that. So
Yeah, I think the most important thing is that we need to learn how to defend set pieces. Maybe Radu can make
yes.
us better, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, I did notice we changed things up a little bit there as well. We did have like a mix of man to man and zonal. So maybe Ange is noticing things and tweaking things, which is a good sign for a lot of Spurs fans that have been looking for that.
Mate, it's an like, listen, I've been absolutely going crazy with Ange because of his press conferences when he's like, oh yeah, set pieces, yeah, we don't really care about that.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to see that he finally like made some changes. Like he swallowed his pride. I mean, I love Ange. I think he's the guy to take us forward. But
Yeah,
it just
me
seems to
too.
me like he was just getting stubborn for no reason. I think it was also because of the press and the questions. I think he knew that we need to change something. Well, I'm so glad that we changed today. And yeah, just overall thoughts on the game, guys. I think we're finishing off the season on a positive note, even though we're coming after 5 defeats in 6 games. That's a terrible record, like to end the season with. But the feeling from today's game was pretty good. We didn't draw. That would have been absolutely a big disaster.
Yeah.
So I'm happy going into the final game of the season at Sheffield. We need to get the 3 points and then start building for next season.
Top man. Michael, thank
Big
you
up,
so much for
Michael.
calling in. Great points, mate. And let's hope Radu Dragusin plays well for Romania in the summer.
Take care.
See you, mate. Just want to read out some of these Postecoglou quotes as I get them. He said, the last 48 hours to me have revealed the foundations are pretty fragile. I asked later what he didn't like. He said, inside and outside the club. Now, for me, I mentioned it to you off air, I feel like he kind of has to say stuff like this. He feels like this is an opportunity for him to say, if you want to change what Tottenham Hotspur are like. So kind of almost like his version of the Conte rant, which is like actually from a good performance base, he's able to say, we now need to change this mentality from being like, we care more about our rivals and use it as an opportunity for starting next season when he's going to have more players that he wants to say, now we don't care about our rivals anymore, we go for it. And look, I don't disagree with that, but this was a pretty unique situation that won't happen again, and I think he's using that for his own benefit, rightly so.
Yeah, I think you're spot on there, Barnaby. You know, he's just leveraging his position really with the things that he said and the things that he said before as well. Any fans that take that to heart, he's just saying what he has to really.
Completely agree.
That's it.
Okay, let's get straight back on to Rocco, who's wearing a lovely 1991 Cup Final replica shirt. Rocco, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you good. Can you hear me?
Yes, very good, mate. How are you feeling? You strike me as one of the younger generation of Spurs fans. How are you feeling about it all?
I'm amazing. I'm so happy with it. I couldn't care less if we lost or won today.
Yeah.
I'm just happy that Arsenal don't win the league.
And did you think the performance was? I personally felt that today's performance was kind of unexpectedly positive.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I liked the system that Ange plays. Like, it was almost fluid. And I think, as you described it, like Dutch football, like no one really had a set position.
Mm-hmm.
And is there anything you think from today's change up of formation from Ange and the style and performance that maybe you could see him going with next season against some of these bigger teams who have kind of, in the most part, certainly in the second half of this season, kind of out-tacticked us, I'd say?
Yeah, I could see him almost. I can almost see him at the start of the season trying to bring in this mentality to the club, and that's why he wasn't changing the tactics. But maybe this is him exploring, maybe being able to change it against the big teams.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen him change things up, really. The only time I can think of that he's really gone for wholesale changes are those cup games. The League Cup game where 9 or 10 changes. So for me, I take a lot of positives from this game, Rocco, and the main one really is that shift of Van der Ven out to left back and bringing Radu into the defence. I think we look a lot more defensively stable with those three in the defence. How do you think Radu got on today as a left centre back, and how do you think VDV did as left back?
I think Van der Ven did really, really well. I think he did really well on the left, and he showed that he's that versatile player that we knew he could be. And I think Dragusin earned the money that we spent for him. He showed that he's good in the air. He gave us that stability when it came to set pieces.
Yeah, fully agree. Now, we did see something a little bit surprising there. When Rodrigo Bentancur got subbed off, he was very, very annoyed at being taken off, and he kind of fly kicked the chair. How do you think he's been since he's come back from his injury?
I think it's slight improvements. It's not as good as he was, but he's getting better. And to be honest, I'm glad to see that from players. When they come off, I want them.
Oh, we lost Rocco.
Have we lost him?
His luscious long hair has got in the way of the signal, and therefore we don't have him on anymore. I just wanted to read a great tweet.
Great caller.
Rocco's back. Rocco, you're back. You're back in business.
I'm back. I'm back.
Sorry, mate.
I don't know where I got cut off. Where did I get cut off?
Just you were going to tell us about Rodrigo Bentancur just before you got cut
Yeah.
off.
Sorry, I'm up in Ireland. I'm in the middle of the mountains somewhere.
Lovely.
But no, I think I'm glad to see players like that when they come off, they show that passion. And I think Bentancur needs a bit of time to get back to his full strength, but he's been showing that.
Yeah, I actually said when Bentancur was coming towards the end of his first injury, the really bad one, I was saying, and that must have been around like November time, something like that. I remember saying, actually, I think what's really important is that we don't overwork Bentancur, and that we kind of say to him, actually, next season is when we're going to need you the most. But instead, we threw him straight in, and then he got injured again, and he's never really recovered. Rock, I just wanted to read out this tweet that I thought was great while you're on. At Lily White Lab says, Son is inevitable from 1-against-1s. One of the best in the world in that situation makes the miss even funnier. Now, Rocco, firstly, I want you to tell me, what was your reaction as he was running through on goal? Like, instinctively, what was your body telling you?
It was telling me that he was going to score. Because he always does. He always scores. He always finds a way. I was sitting with my brother who was an Arsenal fan, and he was cheering. And when he missed, I was just like, he saved us. He saved us.
Oh my God! Watching it with your brother who's an Arsenal fan. What a holiday in the mountains of Ireland that is.
He used to be a Tottenham fan. Changed.
Oh no! No! Have words, Rocco. Have words, mate.
What is going on there? Anyway, Rocco, mate, thank you so much for calling in. Really appreciate it. Give us a call in after the Sheffield United game.
And enjoy the rest of your holiday over in beautiful.
And tell your brother unlucky.
I will. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, Spurs.
Take care.
Top man. Yeah. So, a lot of people just really absolutely living off the Son 1 versus 1. I cannot believe it. I honestly cannot believe that. And yeah, there's got some video footage of Ange in the post-match. He is absolutely fuming. He's not kidding, by the way. He is not kidding. He's very, very angry. And I think this will be I've got a feeling this will be a big moment in his managerial career at Spurs that he will use, like you said, as collateral. Yeah. And he will use it as... It's interesting that he said inside the club as well. I wonder if he felt like a malaise this week of like a we don't care kind of thing.
Maybe.
Edward.
He's voicing out his frustrations.
Yeah, totally. Edward, you're on with us, mate. Can you hear us, and how are you? Oh, you're on mute, Edward.
Can't hear you, Edward. There we go. There we go.
Yes, mate. How are you, and how are you feeling after that game?
I'm good. Thank you, mate. It's a good win. Good win.
Good win for Manchester City. Were you totally kind of one-sided throughout this week, knowing that you wanted Spurs not to win that game?
But, I mean, I really wanted us to lose, so Arsenal don't win the title. I think that's pretty simple.
That's fair enough. And what have you taken anything away from that game today to kind of make you feel more excited going into next season after what has been a difficult kind of month and a half or so?
Yeah, well, all I'm going to say is Mikey Moore is going to go places. He will.
I hope you're right about that, Edward.
When a player skips the under-21s and goes straight to the first team, you know there's something special.
For sure. And the fact that we got a little glimpse, a little cameo there was really nice to see at the end. I was a little bit shocked we didn't see Dane Scarlett starting today as a proper 9, but Ange decided to go without a 9, which for me is a positive that he actually tweaked things up and made some changes tactically. Do you feel like some of the changes that Ange made today we could see going forward next season?
I mean, Van der Ven at left back, I mean, that could work if we're really desperate. And I guess maybe having that, like, no centre forward formation, I mean, you really need to get the right players in that formation.
Yeah.
For someone like, yeah.
Paddy Power, I've just done a tweet saying Tottenham set to confirm open top bus parade after defeat to Man City. Which is really excellent. I don't know, Edward, which players do you think are stuck on to stay at Spurs this summer? It feels to me like Ange is going to utilise this situation. He's talking about the last 48 hours, the fragility of the club as a whole. And it's clear to me that he's run the rule over this whole squad this summer. Which players do you think are guaranteed to stay at Tottenham, and who do you think is on kind of shaky ice? Thin ice, I think is what I'm looking for.
So to stay, I'm going for Sarr, Bentancur, Son, Mickey van der Ven, Romero, Vicario, like the backline, starting backline. On the way out is Højbjerg, Basuma. I would like to. Yeah, I'd like to keep the Celso, but I just don't think
doesn't play enough.
Nah.
Yeah, he doesn't play enough. He hasn't had the chance to prove himself, which is sad. I would like to keep Johnson, keep Zeski as well, keep him, and I want to keep Solomon.
I think Decky is on. I think Decky's on thin ice.
Yeah, I think Decky's on his way, and I think Basuma will stay. You know, Edward, given that start that he had to the season, I think he's a shoo-in to stay. But I can see where you're coming from with that one.
Yeah.
Well, Edward, top man for calling in. Really appreciate it, mate. Give us another call in after Sheffield United on Sunday.
Come on.
Yeah, you know it. You know it.
Good, top man. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Have a good one.
It's interesting so far to me, Amir, that all of the people we've spoken to have been pro us losing tonight.
I mean, everyone I spoke to after the win we had against Burnley was also the same way. So for me, you know, you're looking at probably 80-90% of the fan base got the result they wanted tonight.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just looking at some some people who've changed their profile picture on Twitter to
who
Son
have we
going through
got on next?
I'm hoping it's going to be a little bit of Brian if we can get hold of him. It'd be interesting to hear how he feels about it.
Yeah, definitely. And I do think that, you know, like you said, when it comes to football, opinions are very varied. And I'm sure there are a lot of Spurs fans out there that did want us to get the win and still have the chance of getting Champions League. But I think the way it's worked out with final game of the season being just a bit of a no pressure, fun game, really. Yeah. So hopefully they can give us a big send off against Sheffield.
Who's he going to pick up front in that last game?
I'd love to see either Moore or Scarlett start. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? Let them start. Give these youngsters the chance.
Because he doesn't rate them high enough.
Give them the chance. Look at the West Ham player, the youngster that got a goal the other night. You know, you've got to give these players a chance. You can't just have them sitting around doing nothing.
Yeah, it is difficult. But I trust in Ange. That's the important thing. I trust in Ange.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we've got a little bit of Brian action here. Brian, can you hear us? Yes. Tell us. How are you feeling after that?
So first of all, do you know what? I have never felt so sick, nervous, stressed or anything in the build-up to the game before. Thank God it's over. But you know what? There is actually loads of positives to take from that game. There are, honestly, the first half, seeing Draxler at left back, changing Kulu and putting Maddison. I wasn't confident of that midfield to begin with, but the pressing was there, the passing was there. That first half was like second half normally what we've been doing. It was really encouraging, that first half. And then in the second half, Man City did what Man City do. They're ruthless, they took their opportunities, they took the points.
And how did you feel when Son was one-on-one?
Oh, mate, do you know what? With that one, you could have put your house, your mortgage, your car. That is, I've said, when you see Son like that, one-on-one, it's like turning away to the halfway line because it's going in. And he didn't take the opportunity. He did not take the opportunity. You would have put your house on it, wouldn't you?
Absolutely.
Definitely.
It was so bizarre, and that's why in the watch along and the post-match reaction show, I was wondering, was there like a little small 1% of him in his subconscious, like, is this a good decision?
Well, yeah, again, this is the thing. We didn't want to see him in the centre, did we? And then he was in the centre by default. But like I said, it looked a lot brighter than what we've seen in the previous games. So I think Dragusin took his opportunity.
Yeah, I do.
Vicario made a couple of brilliant saves, didn't he? That error from Højbjerg, that first save was extraordinary. It was incredible. But like I said, I'm coming on here. People probably thought I was going to come on here ranting and raving and what. No, listen, I'll call it as it is. Did I want the result to be what it was and stop Arsenal? Yeah, people know I did. But can I take a lot of good from that performance? 100%. 100% we can. And it was good to see Mikey Moore get some minutes.
Yep.
And was there anyone? Was there anyone?
Oh, sorry, Rodney.
That's all right. Sorry, mate. Was there anyone who played well tonight that has maybe made you reevaluate? Any thoughts on kind of outgoings at the club or potential incomings at the club?
No, like I said, I think we saw today that Van der Ven was not as effective as left back as he was obviously against Burnley. But it's always better quality. He's always going to do that. Listen, the midfield came on. I think Højbjerg, I think we know he's going anyway, don't we? So I think he's one of the ones that are already shoehorned to be going out. Bentancur, I heard you talk about Bentancur. I think he might have a little fine for smashing that chair up from a certain person. Well, we started singing You're Getting Fined in the morning at the Scotland Yard. But no, I don't think anyone really put themselves to shame. The only big thing was Son missing that opportunity, which you would absolutely put your house on. But the second half, we were nowhere near what we were in the first half. But looking at that first half, I can honestly say myself, there are a lot of positives to take from it. If I hear them come out, I haven't heard any interviews, and we hear the normal, we take some positives on this, you actually can. This time you actually can. So the result was, I'm not going to lie, with what I wanted, but at least we performed well. At least we put on a show. At least we showed at the end of the season there is something there. Should Ange be back in the summer when we move forward?
Now, we've spoken a little bit about a few midfielders there, Bentancur included. How do you feel Kulu did when he came on for Bentancur? And does he stay?
I did the after-match with Simeon, and they clipped it. I think Kulusevski is a great player, but not in this system. There are other teams and other systems where he'll fit hand in glove. He does not sit. We cannot find a role for him in this system. And if you look at it, if we are going to make some or have some players leaving the club, Kulusevski is one of them that could actually bring in quite a substantial fee.
Yeah.
Compared to the ones that were the last year of their contract. And we've got to think bigger picture. So if it means getting a player out and a bigger fee to bring someone in better, that's what you need to do. He had an opportunity, he had a shot that obviously went over. I can't remember a lot of what he did. But like I said, I just don't think he fits this system.
That's fair enough.
So I just want to say there's a video that has just been released on Twitter where Ange has actually had a go at a fan who is sat behind the bench. And apparently the fan was telling Ange to throw the game throughout the game, and eventually Ange lost it. So that's an interesting video. And that goes with what Ange has kind of been saying in his post-match press conference, is that, Brian, I don't know if you've heard this, but basically he's saying that the mentality at the club he's seen in the last 48 hours is kind of bad inside and out. And that's kind of what he's got to change more than anything. And Amir was saying that he thinks this is kind of, and I agree, this is kind of collateral that Ange can now use to try and really change Tottenham from top to bottom. Do you think that's what he's doing?
I think so. I mean, I've seen someone WhatsApp me saying what he said. To me, it sounds very Antonio Conte, doesn't it? He may not have done it as fiercely and just a mad rant like Conte did, but it's the same words coming out again, isn't it? It's the same words, just said in a different package and reworded in a certain way.
Yep.
It's not good, is it? It's not good. Listen, I'm not here today to go on about that man up there. Everyone knows how I feel on that. It's the same thing with every manager. And we have to wait and see what happens in the summer now. We just have to wait and see what happens in the summer. But final home game, Mikey Moore getting minutes was lovely to see. And we see what happens with Sheffield United. We know that fifth is ours. Fourth is now gone. The Europa League is where we're at, whether we like it or not. Yeah. I've said as well that I think we're better suited for it at the stage of the journey that we're on. And we seriously challenge for Champions League next year. But all dependent on the summer, on who comes in, who goes out. And we see where we are come August.
Yep. 100%. Does Mikey Moore start against Sheffield, Brian?
I would love him to, mate, but I don't know if he will. I'd love to see, put it this way, Amir, bro. I'd love to see him come on and get more minutes than he did today.
Yeah, me too.
I'd love to see him come on and, let's say, 70, 75 minutes and really have a little opportunity. Exactly. The best thing is he actually came on and got some minutes, which is one. I think he's now become the youngest player to ever wear a Spurs shirt or play in the first team. I don't know if that's Premier League or history. But the stars are coming through. We've got to make sure they progress and get the pathway is right for them. And there are some positive things to look for. It's just how a certain person handles it in the summer.
Yeah, and just before you go, Brian, Pep Guardiola, a quote from Pep says, Spurs will in the future be unbelievable if they stick with this manager. So a little bit of Pep love there.
Barnaby, this is the thing. Listen, we've seen clubs, Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City, Manchester United, they stick with their managers. We don't, whether it's you want to blame it on fans, pressuring the board, or Levy out creeps up and then he pulls the trigger. We have to give a manager time. And if it's not this manager, we just restart again and start from ground zero, once again building, and we repeat the cycle. If we're going to want success and get success, we need continuity.
Yep, 100%. Fully agree.
Top man, Brian, have a good rest of your night, mate. Appreciate you calling in.
And you guys, have a great one. Speak to you soon, people. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Just want to bring up one thing, which is it feels to me like this performance, and I can only talk for myself, but it feels to me like this performance may enable the fan base to kind of forget about those 4 games going into next season. Because I said after the 4th defeat in a row, I said the worry about it I have is that if Ange were to have a bad start next season or lose a couple of games, then it would turn quite quickly.
Yeah, it would turn.
But I think they'll have seen enough, hopefully, in this game to realise that he's, like you said, that what you were most impressed with, that he's willing to tweak a bit and he's got some other options and stuff like that.
Change things up and tweak things and show some tactical nous. I think we've learned a lot from this game. A lot going forward. And personally, I'm a lot happier than what Ange is giving off in those post-match interviews.
I don't get the impression that I feel like Brian maybe got the impression that that Ange is talking about kind of the board or upwards or whatever. I feel it's more like the fan base and how the fan base's opinion is trickling into the players.
That's what I think. Well, it makes sense now that if a fan was shouting at him to throw the game and he's reacted to that, that's what he's talking about, isn't it? It's kind of everything, not so much
Sammy,
the
there's
board.
There's time, definitely. Okay, we're going to talk to my man with my favourite microphone in television. It's Tip Top Tottenham. How you doing, my man?
Yo, hey guys, can you hear me? Everything going well?
Loud and clear.
Loud and clear. How you feeling after that game, mate?
Could not be happier, boys.
Come on.
Goodman, son, thank you. Oh my word, man! I've been saying it. It's terrible to say, but I'm very happy that Arsenal's in a really, really bad spot to not win the league, man. Woo! I was very nervous for a while there, but we played well, which is like a lot of people have been saying, which is very positive to see. I'm really happy that Van de Ven played at left back. The Spurs community has been calling for it, honestly, for weeks and weeks and weeks. And so it was great to actually see it come to fruition. I'll be curious to see if he does it again against Sheffield. I think we looked a lot more solid defensively. Until we get a designated left back that is quality, while Udogie is not in, I think that may be the best option. So yes, I know it's the first time I probably ever felt terrible about a loss, but man, it was just sickening to watch for the past few days on my Twitter feed. All of the Arsenal legends and Arsenal fan accounts talk about, oh man, let's go Tottenham, go get it done. And I was like, oh, you're doing this for you. You're not doing this for us.
Yeah, they're so delusional, aren't they? They're so delusional.
They are.
It's such a sickening fan base, truly.
Yeah, I was just going to say, so Jamie Carragher has tweeted about Ange Postecoglou's fury in the post-match press conference. He says, this is to do with the reaction of supporters tonight in the stadium and being asked about the team's commitment beforehand. Ange and the players did their job and should have got a draw, but what did he expect from the fans? Arsenal fans would have been exactly the same in that scenario. So yeah, I get the sense that Ange was, I think, surprised by the apathy, I guess, in the stadium towards Spurs wanting to win the game. But he's a smart, intelligent man,
guy, so and he understands football.
I think there's a little bit of strategy going on here. What do you think?
Big time.
So ever since I really first started doing research on Ange Postecoglou, I came across this interview of him when he was younger. I believe he may have still been managing the Australian League,
yes,
or the Australian national team. And some reporter was just giving him the hardest time ever, and clearly was there basically to create a headline and to try and trap him into saying something he would regret. And I just remember him giving the reporter so much attitude, and it was very, very funny and entertaining to see. So that kind of gave me a capsulation of what his personality would be like to the media. I really like his style, to be honest. I mean, at times it can be brash and maybe abrasive, but he's at least honest. I mean, at least in the sense of how he feels towards the way things are. It makes sense that he may not necessarily understand why the fans feel the way that they do, but at the same time, I also think that he kind of plays into the media, in that he knows that he has to say, you know, of course I want to go out and try and beat Manchester City because that's his job.
Of course, but also, you know, he's never... You know, he's a gun for hire, so of course he doesn't know the depth of feeling that myself or Amir have, having grown up, you know, in London around Arsenal fans over the last
sometimes
25 years.
In the area where the Arsenal fans are.
Exactly. So for me, I don't doubt that he's smart enough to understand this stuff, but I do feel like strategically he's thinking, this is a really good opportunity for me to lay down my marker and say, okay, fine, this time you can feel like that, but we're not going to put ourselves in a position again where we have to feel like that, because we're going to be the ones challenging. And that's what I think and hope is happening.
And the thing that excites me the most about Ange, I would say, is that, at least so far, based off of what we've seen, he seems like the first manager in a while that Daniel Levy and ENIC are really more willing to listen to, I would say. When you come in as a manager at Tottenham, based off of my perception of it, you come in with the expectations and the understanding that you're not going to be able to go out and get the players that are 100 million pounds, you know, regularly. That's not something that you're going to be able to do often. You're going to, you know, obviously Levy loves to promote youth products or academy players rather when he can. But I think, like I had said previously, I think Ange has been seeing a lot of the backing of ENIC, and if that continues in the summer, I really do think Spurs fans have a reason to be excited for next season.
Well, I'll tell you exactly the main reason why I think we should and hopefully could be excited is if we can stumble upon Mickey van der Ven for £40 million when all the fan base was saying, get Tap sober, get whoever. Right, and actually it shows that the recruitment team and Ange signing off on those players knows better than we do.
They were spot on.
And actually, for the first time today, Dragoshin has shown us that he looks like a good fit as well.
He does,
especially if he's able to get rhythm in games. And I think he's an absolute stylistically identical fit to Christian Romero as the right-sided centre back. And then Vicario has proven his worth as well. And as Ange said in his pre-match press conference, like, it's been the first full season for Sarr, Udogie, Porro. So listen, the signs are there and there's enough there to be excited about. But as Amir said earlier, the idea now that we know that for certain games, Ange will then tweak it and play no striker. That's the first time I've seen Spurs not play. I don't think we've ever played a false nine in any game under Conte or Jose or anyone.
No.
And I think just this today has opened up the idea that actually Ange will evolve as we've all hoped that he will.
It's proven that he's willing to do that, which is fantastic.
Okay,
I think Dragoshin, to you guys' point, I just wanted to say real quick. I think
go for it. Yeah.
Played admirably well today. I thought that he really enjoyed the challenge of playing Erling Haaland with the physical presence that he had brought. You know, I had felt like he really was up for the challenge against that, and he played a lot freer today. And the last player, Barnaby, that you did not mention that we recently had signed is the kit that I'm wearing. Vicario, man, I know this guy concedes a lot, or leaks a lot of goals at times, but it's more of the system, I feel like, fault than his individual performances.
100%.
He had a couple of great saves today. He is a top keeper in terms of shot stopping. I think he is absolutely elite. And I think he is a keeper we can build the future.
Totally,
100%.
And I'm also
100%.
already seeing signs. Sorry, but I'm already seeing signs that Ange and his set piece boys are tweaking things to help Vicario out. That's key.
They are, and hopefully, what I'm hoping next season that Big Vic, he takes authority and control over that whole defense. And he gets it into these backline that we don't concede. We don't concede. If we concede 20 or 30 less goals than we have this season, we can really push on next season.
Absolutely. I love all you guys' channels. I was just going to say, Barnaby, your show is great. Amir, your show is great. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Check me out at Tip Top Tottenham. Search it anywhere. That's where you'll find my content.
Definitely. Thanks so much for calling in. We'll speak to you after Sheffield United. Do go to Tip Top Tottenham. Give him a subscribe.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs. Exactly.
Come on.
Guys, we're going to cut this one a bit short because we've got trains to get home to. Although, Sammy, is that one more person or? No. And also, it just so happens to have coincided with no one else being here. But guys, I think for me, just to kind of try and put a conclusion on this, it's worked out kind of how I hoped it would, which is like a heroic defeat that has given us positivity going forward. I want us to go to Sheffield United the weekend, put on a show. It won't be easy because there's no pressure on them either, but let's put on a show, get a win, and then the fun can start because we know there's that June the 30th deadline where there are clubs who are going to need to get money in to get through the profit and sustainability rules. We know this week Chelsea are trying to get through another harebrained scheme to try and sell their training ground to themselves. There's going to be stuff happening over the next few years, including with clubs like Man City and Chelsea, that we need to be ready for.
Yes.
We need Ange to have the backing and get the players in the squad that he wants to be ready for potentially 100%. A year's time, 18 months' time. And then if we stick by him, and we get the squad together that he wants, it could be exciting times.
The real work starts as soon as that final whistle goes at Bramall Lane.
And I'm sure that the recruitment team have been doing a lot of work already anyway. Guys, if you haven't already, please do subscribe to We Are Tottenham TV. Go into the title here, at Barnaby Slater _. You can subscribe to my daily Spurs content, the Spurred On podcast. You can see Amir at the Olive Tree podcast.
Olive Branch.
That's exactly what I said, the Olive Branch podcast. I took a risk and I was wrong. Make sure you go over to the podcast platforms, give that a subscribe, a follow, and a rating. And be excited for the future. A loss tonight, but the correct result, in my opinion.
Yes.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, Tom.